Okay, so you know what it's about. I'm just giving this a little airspace so we can get it going. Okay, start. What is the univariate function f of x in mathematics? This is lecture 1. N does not equal number of blank of list of length. This is lecture 17. The answer is permutations. What is a variable x in mathematics? Lecture 1. A value that may change an abstraction or a generalization. What is the two key components of a recursive function? Lecture 17. A base case and a recursive call. What is the precedence of the basic arithmetic operators? Lecture 1. Whether there is more than one arithmetic operator in an expression, multiplication, division, and modulo are calculated first, followed by subtraction and addition. If they have the same level of precedence, it is executed left to right. What is the base case for a string reversal? Lecture 17. The base case is t equals parentheses number base case for c in S colon t equals c plus t return t. That's the best way we're going to get it. How do you express 4 square root of 3 in Python interpreter? You import math 4 times math square root 3. What is the base case for sum in sum parentheses in lecture 17? Base case is this is assert n is greater than or equal to 1 if n is equal to 1 colon number base case return 1 else return n plus sum in parentheses n minus 1. How do you express 2 divided by 3 pi without parentheses? It is 2 times pi / 3. So that's 2 times pi divided by 3. What is the base case of lint L? So this will be BC, which is base case, and RC, which is recursive call. So if L is equal to empty brackets colon number base case 1 return true. L if type L parentheses L bracket 0 bracket parentheses exclamation point equal, so not equal to, int colon number BC, which is base case 2, return false, else number recursive call, return lint parentheses L colon 1, bracket 1 colon bracket parentheses. What are the acceptable resources for coding? Lecture 2, official Python document. What is the base case and recursive call of argmax L, parentheses L? This is a certain length, parentheses L, greater than 0 if ln, parentheses L is equal to 1, colon, number base case returns 0, else else, colon, number RC, recursive call, Imax equals argmax, parentheses L, bracket, colon, len, ln, parentheses L, parentheses minus 1, bracket, parentheses, if L, bracket, minus 1, bracket, is greater than L, bracket, Imax, bracket, colon, Imax equals ln, L, parentheses L, minus 1, return Imax. This is some bullshit. What are the standard arithmetic operators? 6 of them. That would be addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponentiation, modulo, and floor. These would be addition sign, minus sign, multiplication sign, which is a star, division, which is slash, exponentiation, which is the star, modulo, which is parentheses, floor division, which is 2 forward slashes. Explain stacking and push and pop. List last in first out. LIFO. What is the type of 5 in mathematics, computer science? So this lecture 2 is an integer. What are the valid operations on the stack? Lecture 19. Pop, parentheses, parentheses, and push, parentheses, parentheses. What is the scalar type of 4.2 in mathematics, computer science? That is a real or a float. Push 1, pop 2, push 3, pop 4, push 5, pop. What are the contents of the stack? 1, 2, and 4. Compute the cube 2, 3, 4 point. So compute the cube of 234. 234 raised to the power 3 equals 128,129,04. What is the convex hull of a set of points? Lecture 19. Simple approximation to a shape. What does A equal B mean in mathematics arithmetic? Math, A is the same value as B. Comp sci, B is assigned A. So like if it's math, A is equal to B. If it's computer science, A is assigned A. A is assigned to B. I meant B is assigned to A. How can the stack be used to solve the convex hull set? Because the whole stack is the convex hull. What is the type of 5 plus 3? Answer is integer. In gram scan, convex hull reduces to which blank, which reduces to what? Stack and point. So in gram scan, convex hull reduces to stack, and which reduces the points. What is the type of 5.6 plus 3.4? The answer is 9, and that would be float because it would use decimal numbers. Where does the parentheses continuation come useful, even though it violates the general Python principles of command line? Is strings. What is the type 5-3? Answer. Is 5 divided by 3? That's 1.62. That should be a float. Give a good reason why we use object-oriented programming. To explain code even without having to know the underlying behavior of the code. Division always results in a float. How can functions and variables change in the context of object-oriented programming? Through methods. Assign the value 10 to n. N equals 10. What is the first parameter of every method? Self. Double the variable n. That will be n times 2. N star 2. How do you introduce a member as a variable? With the you introduce it with the blank integer, the blank init blank function in class. Increment a variable in n. So that's n plus equals 1. That's how you do incrementation. What is the purpose of the special method in the special method blank init blank, also called a constructor? It initializes the member variables. So you set y to the quotient of n and x. So you'll be y equals n / x. That is how you set y to the quotient of n and x. What is the purpose of the special method blank str blank? It is called when object requires a print statement. Which operator is applied first in each? 2 plus 3 plus 4. That would be 2 plus 3 because, they go in sequence. What is the base case? So a case where the problem can be solved without further recursion. That is the base case. Which operator is applied first? 2 plus 3 times 4. So that would be 3 times 4. What is a child class? A case involving object of inheritance. That is a child class. Which operator is applied first? 2, bold 3, 4. So that'd be 2 times 3. What is the first line of class called? Foo. If it is a base class, it is blank call blank method. Which operator is applied first? 2 times 3 times 4. That would be 3 times 4 because exponents work backwards. I guess 2 times bold 3 times 4 is, it is an exponentiation. Define the getter and setter methods for the member variable foo in the class. So get and set are to retrieve data, and get is to retrieve data, and set is to assign data to a variable. After you have saved Python code in Python script, how do you run it? You write the code in the editor, run it in the Canopy terminal tools in the directory in which the files you are working with are located. What is the first problem in the graph theory? Who introduced it, and in what year? So Euler's bridges of Königsberg, Leonhard Euler in 1735. That is the first graph theory is Euler bridges of Königsberg, and who introduced it was Leonhard Euler, and it was done in 1735. What constraints must have a value variable and name to satisfy? First character must be a letter, but does not use underscore. Other characters must have a letter, digit, or underscore, not reserved word or built-in function, such as true, print, for, or while, etc. So those are valid variable names, but it cannot be any of those things. Name three useful computations that use scalar product: Euclidean length, Euclidean distance. In the question mark. And those are, I guess, the three. What is the Python cosine function? Math.cosine parentheses. How do you autocomplete in the terminal? You get the tab key. Is X or Y true if both X and Y are true? Is X or Y true if both X and Y are true? Yes. What is a docstring? Written instructions for the reader, not the computer, to be used to understand your code. How many else statements can an if statement have? One. An if statement can only have one else statement. What is the main purpose of a docstring? To help the reader, not the computer, better understand the code. How many if statements can an if statement have? Multiple, but usually not an excessive amount. What is the second purpose of a docstring? To establish parameters and returns of a function. Which are strings? Parentheses garden, or one single parentheses, double parentheses garden. Um, Single parentheses garden and double parentheses garden are, but if you mix them, they don't count as a string. Let A equal 5. What is the evaluation order of 1 is less than A less than 3? And what is the evaluation of a type 1 is less than A? And then also, what is the valuation of 1 is less than A less than 3? 1 is less than A, then A is less than 3. 2 is, if 1 is less than A, then 2 is true and is a Boolean. Okay. Let me restate that. So if you let A equal 5, and then you ask the questions like, for example, what is the evaluation order of A is less than 1 is less than A and A is less than 3, then the answer to that would be first 1 is less than A, then A is less than 3. Then let's say let A equal 5. What is the value and type of 1 equals A? That would be true, and it'd be a Boolean. And then you say you have let A equals 5. What is the value of 1 less than A and A less than 3? The value will be false because you can't have it like that. What are two ways of referring to parentheses? Not parentheses. What are the two ways of referring to quote D lecture 5? S equals quote garden quote. S bracket 3 and S bracket negative 3. What are the two ways referring to the D, the quote D? S equals garden. I don't understand. Write a for loop to test the value of A equals 20. A equals 0 to 20. So if A is equal to 5, return true, else return false. So no, we're writing a for loop, so that'd be like for A in range 0, 20, if A is equal to 5, return true, else return false. For A in range parentheses 0, comma 20 parentheses colon, if A equal to 5 colon return true else colon return false. Define a rational number. It can be expressed as a fraction. What are two styles of a for loop? The two styles would be by element, so like print L, by index of element. So by element it will be parentheses L, or by index of element, which would be parentheses L bracket 0 bracket parentheses. That's just how it is. Define an even number. It has a multiple of 2. Implement a string reversal using a for loop. So def reverse parentheses s parentheses colon t equals quote for c in s colon t equals c plus t return t. That is how you implement a string reversal using a for loop. We'll do it again. Def reverse parentheses s parentheses colon t equals quote for c in s colon t equals c plus t return t. Prove if n is even, n times 2 is also even. Because if n was odd, n equals 2 times k plus 1. That is the answer. Referring to the 3 methods of string reversal in reverse pi, why do we refer to reversal 1? Because it is clean and simple code. If A and B are floats, why is A equal to B a bad question? Because floats are always an approximation, and approximations are never equivalent. Implementation minimum of an int list using a for loop, min pi. So this is an implementation. This is an implement minimum of an int list using a for loop. So def my min parentheses L parentheses colon assert len. So next line, assert len parentheses L parentheses greater than 0, m equals L bracket 0 bracket for I in range parentheses 1 comma len parentheses L parentheses colon if L bracket I bracket less than m colon m equal L bracket I bracket return m. Give an example of iteration, irrational. Give an example of an irrational number. That will be pi. That will be e. That would be square root of 2, and etc. Those are irrational numbers. How do you randomly choose a float in parentheses 0 comma 1 parentheses? You import random dot uniform parentheses 0 comma 1 parentheses. Define algorithm. A sequence of steps to solve a problem. Write a function to build a list of n floats in parentheses 0 comma 1 parentheses. So we're going to write a function to build a list of n floats that 0 comma 1. So it'd be def rand list in def rand list comma no I'm sorry def rand list parentheses in comma lo comma hi parentheses colon. Then we're going to put quote params colon in parentheses float parentheses colon floats floats quote L equals bracket empty bracket for I in range parentheses in parentheses L dot append append parentheses random dot uniform parentheses 0 comma 1 parentheses star return L star 1 line. What is Heron's algorithm? A square root algorithm. Define scope. Scope is the part of a program where a variable binding is visible within the function within the for loop within the if statement. Give Heron's algorithm. So you make a g equals x forward slash 2 while lx minus g star star 2l greater than e equals g equals average parentheses g comma x forward slash g parentheses return g. Define overloading. The ability to create multiple functions of the same name with different implementations, multiplication versus consociation. What is an algorithm style on Heron's algorithm? It is an iterative algorithm. The three-point method. 3-point methods. Import math from turtle import and import numpy as np. Yeah, so the three import methods are import math, from turtle import star, or import numpy as np. What types have we studied that are mutable and immutable? Mutable are lists. Immutable are tuples, ints, floats, bools, and strings. How would you import random? We would just type in import random. What does it mean for a type to be immutable? It cannot be changed once it is set. How do you translate a string to lowercase? You go string dot lowercase parentheses parentheses. You go string dot lower parentheses parentheses, not lowercase, string dot lower. What is scalar? Of what is it in abstraction? Scalar is a point with only magnitude and no direction, a vector. Implement argmin. So the implement argmin will go def argmin parentheses L parentheses colon assert len parentheses L parentheses greater than 0 I min equals 0 for I in range parentheses 1 comma len comma L for I in range parentheses 1 comma len parentheses L parentheses colon if L bracket I bracket less than L bracket I min bracket colon I min equals I return I min. That is how you implement argmin. What is a vector? Having magnitude and direction. Build a random string of length and in. Build a random string of length in. I don't know how to do that. Build a random string of length in. I don't know how to do that. Give an example of a problem that we use a vector as data, distance and length. How do you open a file? You hit F equal open parentheses quote file name dot text quote comma quote r quote comma dot encode encoding equals quote utf dash 8 quote parentheses. Do two vectors in an n space always define an angle? Yes. What is returned from the open function? Nothing unless specified to read, so parentheses r parentheses or write parentheses w parentheses. What is a unit vector? A vector with a length of 1. How do you read a file into a single string? You type in F equal open parentheses quote file name dot text quote comma quote r quote comma encoding encoding equals quote utf dash 8 quote parentheses string equals f dot read parentheses parentheses. Let v1, v2, and w1, w2 be vectors in a 2 space. What is their scalar product? That would be parentheses v1, w1 parentheses plus v2, w2 parentheses. What string, when using string.split function, what is a token? Each word as a string is the token. Give some good test data for scalar product. So that would be parentheses v1 comma v2 comma w1 comma w2 parentheses parentheses 2 comma 5 comma 10 comma 4 parentheses, and the answer would be comma parentheses 210 parentheses plus parentheses 5 4 parentheses equals 40. How do you print a string adding a comma rather than a new line? You will type in print parentheses quote new quote comma end equals print quote comma quote parentheses print string print parentheses quote string quote parentheses. Lose my mind. What operators does scalar product use? Multiplication, star, and addition plus. That is what operators does scalar product use? Multiplication, star, and addition plus. Do you have to add your own whitespace when writing a file? Yes. String.whitespace. What is a typecasting, and what are two valid reasons to use it? Um, Explicitly when changing type of a variable. So like one variable into a string and two variable into a float slash int. When do you use a while loop? When the number of iterations is unknown. What is the search? What is the search problem? Give input and output. So input sequence of n numbers, a equals less than a0, a1, a2. So it's further on this iteration, and variable v output index I such that v equals a bracket I bracket or none if v is not in a. Algorithm for linear search. Search for the first element towards the end until you find the element or reach the end. See linearsearch.py. Algorithm for binary search. If search space is size 1, check for this one element, otherwise probe the middle element. If x is the middle L, ELT, return this element. If x is less than middle element, search in the first half. If x is greater than middle element, search for the second half. Have split the search in half in step step exclamation point. Last logarithm. See binary underscore search.py. Linear search shrunk the search space by what in each step? 1. So linear search shrunk the search space by 1 in each step. Binary search shrunk the search space by half in each step. So like binary search shrunk the search space by blank in each step, and then the answer is half. So binary search shrunk the search space by half in each step. Linear logarithm, a linear algorithm that takes n steps on the logarithmic algorithm is an algorithm that takes the most. Okay, start over. Linear algorithm is an algorithm that takes n steps on input of size n. A logarithmic algorithm is an algorithm that takes the most log n steps on an input of size n. Define time complexity of an algorithm is a measure of the number of steps the algorithm will take in the worst case. Consider the following assignment statement in Python. X equals quote 5 quote. What is the type of X? Is it an int, a float, a bool, a string, or a list? It is a string. Consider the following. X equals parentheses bracket 5 comma 1 parentheses 2 comma 3 parentheses bracket 5 comma 1 comma bracket 2 comma 3 parentheses. What is the type? Is it a tuple, list, int, a or b, or a and b? It is a tuple. The time complexity of a binary search is logarithmic, linear, quadratic, or cubic. It's logarithmic. The list is immutable. True or false? False. An int is immutable. True or false? True. What is aliasing? When a variable is assigned to a variable. What is cloning? How does it solve aliasing? L underscore clone equals L bracket colon bracket. Mutate a list while looping over a cloned copy to avoid fucking up the original list. What is the relation of logarithmic and exponential? It is inverse. So logarithmic is inverse to exponential. How many powers of 10 to span the size difference between a quark and the universe? 40 orders of magnitude. Okay. What is an exponential algorithm? An algorithm that takes 2n steps, dash 2n steps. How does binary search use recursion? It divides and conquer strategy. So that's how does binary search use recursion? Divide and conquer strategy. What is the inspiration for the Fibonacci numbers? Exercise in his textbook of the abacus. How many pairs of rabbits can be produced from a single pair in a year's time? What is the Fibonacci recursion relation? What is Fibonacci's recursion relation? F parentheses 0 parentheses equals 0, F parentheses 1 parentheses equals 1, F parentheses n parentheses equals F parentheses n minus 1 parentheses plus F n parentheses n minus 2 parentheses if n is greater than equal to 2. 5 exclamation point equals question mark. 5 bold 4, 3 bold 2, 1. That is all the things. We did it. All right, bitch, do your test.